Hey, good Thursday morning to you. We're going to try this one more time. I'm in John chapter 6, beginning with verse 5. John 6, verse 5. Reading it says, Then Jesus lifted up his eyes, and seeing a great multitude coming toward him, he said to Philip, Where shall we buy bread that these may eat? But this he said to test him, for he himself knew what he would do. And Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may have a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, There is a lad here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish, but what are they among so many? And then Jesus said, Make the people sit down. Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down in number, about 5,000. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to the disciples, and the disciples those sitting down, and likewise of the fish, as much as they wanted. When they were filled, he said to his disciples, Gather up the fragments that remain, so that nothing is lost. Therefore they gathered them up and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which were left over by those who had eaten. And so we look at this, the miracle of the feeding of the 5,000. And truly, I look at this and I start to wonder, we have great needs before us today. The food pantry will be feeding people, and God every week tends to bring what we need to feed the group that comes. But Jesus would say, where shall we buy the bread that these may eat? And first we look to ourselves, and Philip says, we don't have enough money, we can't do it. And Andrew says, I found this little bit in what I have, and it's not enough. And then Jesus says, make the people sit down. I love that. I hope you catch that. They were obedient, even though they didn't know what Jesus would do or how he would do it. They were obedient in what Jesus told them. This day, be obedient in what Jesus leads you to do. Read his word, pray, and be obedient, and Jesus will work out the details. Notice that after he had given thanks, he had the disciples feed them. So they all knew the 5 loaves and 2 fish, and they fed the multitude. They kept carrying and feeding, and everybody got all they wanted. And then Jesus said, gathered up. And when they gathered up, there were 12 basketfuls. There were 12 disciples. So every disciple got a basket full when there was nothing to start with. So they got to eat as well, I would say. And they got to see that with Jesus, there's always enough. My friends, today I pray that you may be getting toward the end of the week, and there may be more money or more week than there is money. Too much week at the end of the money, they used to say. But understand, Jesus loves you. He cares. So you let him be a blessing to you today. You follow and you trust. Know that you're loved. Know as always at Westview, we mean it when we say we're here for you. You have a great one, and God bless.